For those who haven't met me before, Wayne Breitbart, hail to you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but do spend a lot of time in Madison with my Madison friends. And I thank you for inviting me to this today. I've been teaching LinkedIn for almost 12 years now. And when I started LinkedIn, I had a full head of hair. And all the LinkedIn changes will do just that for you. Been at this a long time, doing it full time. And I'm the author of this book, The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success, now in its 4th edition, which we will be giving away some prizes. We got 4 magnificent prizes for you, but Greg will be handling the questions for the prizes as we go through the presentation. So get ready for those. You will love the prizes. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to roll through some of the newest changes on LinkedIn, and there have been a pile of them. I don't think I've ever seen 6 or 7 months of changes as fast as they came from LinkedIn. And a lot of it had to do with COVID. They released some stuff early and said it was because of COVID. They thought they would release certain things. And so I've broken these down into 3 different categories. And this is not every change that took place, but I scoured the landscape of what's taken place since about October. And I picked off the ones that I think are the best. You notice I'm not going to talk about LinkedIn Live because we don't all have LinkedIn Live. In order to get LinkedIn Live, you've got to apply, and they don't like LinkedIn trainers having LinkedIn Live. They're only starting to give some of us LinkedIn Live. I've applied 3 times and haven't gotten it. So I'm not covering things that aren't out there yet. Okay, like we're supposed to have stories. Stories is coming, they say. It's been coming for 6 or 7 months. I think it's available in a couple different countries. If you want to pretend that you live in like Brazil, change your address to Brazil, you'll have stories. So you can actually fool LinkedIn and have stories. I think Brazil and the Netherlands. So we're not covering that because it's not widely distributed. If you haven't thought about how LinkedIn does changes in the past as they roll them out, not everybody gets everything at the same time, but I think these are out there for everybody. At least my hope and prayer is that I'm not covering something you can't do, but there is that possibility. By the way, if you can't find it on your desktop, sometimes it's desktop only or mobile only. If it's a mobile app, be sure to download the most recent app, and that will help you. You can't get the new stuff if you don't have the new app downloaded. So the format, I'm going to roll through this list. I'm going to show you my profile or other people's profiles or some searches that we do to bring up some of the examples. But then I'm going to make sure with every single one of these, I share the strategy, right? Not just here's a new feature, try it. Here's a new feature, here's how I think you can use it. And I broke them down into 3 different categories. I broke them down into LinkedIn changes that everybody can use, LinkedIn changes relating to the company page, which are super duper exciting. This is probably the best batch of company changes they've given us, especially for those of us that don't want to spend a lot of money with LinkedIn. And the third thing is hopefully we get some time so I can still spend some time on those of you who may be looking for work and talk about the specific changes relating to job seekers. Okay, here we go. Let's roll. I'm going to bring down the agenda and pop over to my profile, starting with the very first item. It's called the featured section. And boy, if you haven't figured out featured, you're missing it. So notice how cool featured is. When you scroll down, tell me this isn't one of the best little marketing, I call it a marketing carousel, you've ever seen on your profile. When I saw this pop in February, I said, boy, if I were LinkedIn, I would have made that part of premium because it's just too good to be free. So if you don't have featured on your profile, a lot of people don't. It's only because you haven't gone over to add profile section and clicked the featured button and grabbed it. If you had media in your about section, then you automatically got featured with the media that you had in your about section before the featured section came out. So here's what I like about featured. I like the images. I like how they pop, right? I mean, you can't help it when somebody's scrolling down your profile. Oh, what's that? What's that, right? They'll stop it. And you can notice what you can put in your featured section. You can put a link to a post on LinkedIn, a link to an article, a link to a website link, or pieces of media. And 2.5 of them really come up nice, right? 2.5 of them come up nice, and they've given us complete control over the order, which I like that too. So you don't have to be at the whim of LinkedIn putting them in the order that you put them into the featured carousel. You can rearrange them in the order you want to make sure that your first 2.5 are the ones that grab the most attention. So what would I put here? Landing pages. Boy, if I would put landing pages number 1. I think this is the best position for your company's landing page. That's a really good one. Now, think about this too. If you're the marketing person in your company, help your sales folks get their featured up. Help your give them the 2 or 3 pieces of content that you'd like to put in their featured. Trust me, I do consultations with salespeople all the time. I say, you ought to put something in your featured section. What's that? Because what we've done is we turned salespeople into marketers, haven't we? They need your help. And if you sit down or send out a memo and say you're going to have a little training meeting on the featured section and share with them the 2 or 3 things that you think are the best things they could put in their featured, they'll probably do it. Because let's face it, you're on the team together. You're trying to gather business together. So featured, love it. Hope and pray that it doesn't go away. Sometimes LinkedIn gets features and they go away and then they do move them to some kind of premium platform. I don't think that'll happen in this case. Microsoft has been pretty steady with what they've been doing. So take advantage of featured. But like I said, be sure to leverage your sales team's featured column, your featured sections, because they're the ones that are having the most customer interactions or prospect interactions. It's one thing for you to have it right as the marketing person, but it's another thing to help the team get loaded up. Okay, that's the featured section. It's number 1 today because it is number 1. Okay, next one. This one came out. I think everybody should have it by now.
Hello, my name's Wayne Breitbarth, and I can help you leverage LinkedIn for your business and career success. Just let me know how I can help.
That little button there is called a pronunciation audio button. It's meant to be the pronunciation. Yes, it's hard to pronounce Breitbarth. But why not put a little marketing pop in there, right? Why not tell somebody what's going on and how you could help them? I think that's really cool. And it's both on the app and on your profile. How do you get to that? This whole section is controlled by this pencil right here. Okay? And so you get it, if you put it on your phone, it will carry over to the desktop, of course. So item number 2, think about using the pronunciation audio button, not just for the pronunciation of your name, but for maybe a little bit of a sales pitch. And that's another place that you should be helping your sales folks with optimizing the pronunciation button. Okay, number 3, headline expansion. For the last several years, the headline has been maxed out at 120 characters. And the only way you could add these extra 100 characters was by a little bit of a workaround on an Apple device using the mobile app. Now LinkedIn opened it up anywhere we get 220 characters in our headline. So just step back for a second and think of what the word headline means. It should conjure up the thoughts of subject line. Wouldn't you love to have a longer subject line in your emails? Wouldn't you love to have a longer title in your blog post? LinkedIn just gave it to us, 220 characters. Keep in mind, besides this being good descriptiveness about what you and your company do, it also is one of the 3 hotspots for the LinkedIn search algorithm to decide who gets near the top of a search and who gets on page 25 and never gets looked at. So take advantage of the fact that they gave us an extra 100 characters in the headline for optimizing either your story or your keyword. And really, that's always my strategy with people when they're working on profiles. Everything on your profile is either a good story about you and your company, or you're putting it there because it's a good keyword and the search engine will like it better. And I tend to like this pipe key strategy. It's not LinkedIn magic or anything. I just think it looks nice up there. So 220 characters in your headline. Help your team maximize this. I do like typically having a person's title beginning at the front of their headline, but then after that, everything else is fair game. Either to tell a little story about #1 bestseller this or highly rated this, but then add some of your products and services in there too, and the search engine will really like that. Okay, so that's your headline, been expanded to 220 characters. That does, wherever you make the change, if you make the change here on the computer, it will carry forward to your desktop. And the beginning is more important than the end, because we notice our headline does truncate sometimes when we're traveling around on LinkedIn and posting and things. So the beginning is going to be more important. So you may want to take a look at that truncation and make sure that you get the best stuff in the beginning. Okay, item number 4 for LinkedIn changes for all users is the About section. So some of you still refer to your About section as summary. It's not, it's called About. What they did with the About section was they gave us an extra 600 characters in our About section, going from 2,000 to 2,600. Why do I think that's important? I think it's important because some people will look at this chunk of content because it's the first big chunk that comes up. Now, before I open to see more, I want you to think about this strategy. The first 300 characters-ish, make sure they are good. I like to recommend that you put your contact information first, especially if you're in the sales role, because you want prospects to be able to call you on the phone or send you an email if they'd like to talk to you. But then make sure you hit them square between the eyes with what's going on and why you're the best and why you'd be interesting and what's your business proposition that's different than anybody else, in hopes that if this is interesting enough, then they will scroll open to catch the other 2,600 characters. Okay, so about 300 characters, concentrate on that. But the bonus here is LinkedIn has now given us 600 more characters in our About section. And the reason they did that was because people were asking for it. And I think that's something that LinkedIn would have never done before Microsoft, but they seem to be listening better now. I would say as a rule, I like what LinkedIn has done since Microsoft has bought the company. Okay, next item for everybody. My last item for everybody on LinkedIn is this one. It's the posting options. So under posting options, we do have some new choices here. I think some of them are a little bit silly. I'm not a big fan of create an occasion, or there's one that's called kudos. You can do kudos. I forget where that is, but they've offered us some other options here, including create a poll. Now, my personal opinion of create a poll is they're a little bit annoying, but that's just my opinion. They seem to be getting a lot of traction of organic reach. So I think the create a poll could be a good strategy for you if you don't overuse it. And once again, with every post option you have, the bigger your network is, the more it's going to get engagement. Because the latest on the LinkedIn algorithm when it comes to posting is this: 5 to 10% of your network will receive that in their feed. And LinkedIn will then test that initial push to see how much engagement it gets. If it gets engagement, it's going to go to more people tomorrow and the next day and the next day. So you help yourself by adding tags and hashtags to your posts, and it will help get additional traction and organic reach. It does appear that the organic reach that LinkedIn is pushing harder right now is a poll, a document, or a video. Video seems to still be hot, and documents do real well too, especially since LinkedIn has come up with this concept of dwell time. They shared a couple of months ago that one of the ways they decide how many people they're going to push your post out to is how long are people dwelling on your post. And that means the document tends to take up more of the screen and usually has multiple pages, which causes people to read and click to page 2, page 3. That increases dwell time. Okay, so documents. So like the other day, I had a client that wanted to post a job posting and they wanted to put a link up to their career page. They said, should we do that or should we make a PDF out of it? And I said, I do both. Let's test it a little bit. But sure enough, the PDF turned out, got a lot more engagement than the link. Because LinkedIn does not like links. You probably have realized that by now. anytime it takes you, the viewer, from here to off of LinkedIn, that's a no-no. Now, I wouldn't stop you from posting links. It's still the way to get people to your website, but realize it's probably going to have a little less engagement than some of these other items that LinkedIn, especially ever since they discussed this thing called dwell time. Okay, so best practices on your posts as we sit here in the summer of 2020. 3 hashtags. Tagging people is a good idea. Not, if you can avoid a link, all the better, but then maybe add a picture because the visual still is important. The video works the best. Documents work good. Polls work well too. And test. And then think about trying to get some people in your organization to engage in some of your posts in the first hour. LinkedIn was very clear about that too. The first hour is sort of they call it the witching hour. That's where they're going to test how well something's going to give it its initial push. So sometimes working within your organization and getting people to help each other with posts will really get the thing to go a lot further down the road even. Okay, so those are my 4. So what we have with LinkedIn changes for everybody: featured section, name pronunciation audio button, headline expansion to 220, about section jumped up 600, but don't forget that first 300, how critical that is. And then our posting options have increased with the kinds of things we could post. Okay, I am now going to move to company page changes. Some pretty cool stuff here. And this is all for free LinkedIn. There is no actual company page premium. I'm waiting for that. I think I'm seeing with some of these changes that maybe Microsoft might come up with a premium company page version, but we'll see. Maybe not.
Wayne,
yeah.
Is this a good point to
do
our first set of questions?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay. What are we giving away again?
3 books and a consultation.
All right, we're going to ask a question here. In the first, we're going to ask some Wayne's World trivia. We'll give away the first 2 books here first. So the first person who gets the answer up in the chat window will win a book. So I'm going to ask two questions.
And these will be signed and priceless.
Signed and priceless. Cannot beat that. All right. Here we go. First trivia question for the first book. What was, in the movie Wayne's World, Wayne's hometown? Whew. Sean?
Whoa.
Sean, wow. Sean had that thing primed and ready to go. Sean from Acumium. Wayne, how do you want to do this? Do you want...
So the winners, if the winners just send me a LinkedIn message or an email and just give me your mailing address. You can find me on LinkedIn and send me a message either through a connection request or an email.
Okay. Second question. Who played the security guard at the Alice Cooper concert?
Wow. That's a tough one.
Alex Bell, Sarah Rogers. Nice.
So what were the 2 answers?
Chris Farley.
Chris Farley. And what was the city?
Oh, Aurora. Sorry. Aurora.
Okay, Aurora, Illinois?
Yeah.
Good. And any questions in the chat I should take, Greg or Tony? Anything relating to those?
Tony, I saw one that came through. Tony, you want me to go ahead? Yeah, Tony,
go ahead. Yeah, I don't see it. Go ahead and send those to me directly.
Okay. Wayne, any thoughts? This is from Steve Mintz. Any thoughts on tagging, best practices, and who should you tag?
Yeah, so I think tagging works. And the reason it works is because it notifies your tagger that they were tagged, and then it asks them to join the conversation. And if they're smart, they'll come over and hit your like. They'll like the fact that you mentioned them, and they'll say something, and they'll tag you back, and then you'll say thank you and you're welcome and say a few more things. So tagging can force or notify people to engage when I think they're great. Who should you tag? Well, maybe team members, maybe and if you don't want your tag to sit up in the post because you think it looks funny, use the first comment. Grab the first comment and say, hey, everybody, don't forget to share this with your clients. They'll really like this information at person 1 and person 2. So team members is a good tag. Clients can be a good tag. Also, how about tagging people who you know you've talked to in the last few days about this topic? Put them in, you could tag them as well. Now, you could share the post directly with them, but sharing a post directly into their inbox does not help the organic reach. It doesn't count that. And by the way, a share does not perform very well at all. A like, a comment with a tag will do the best.
You know, Wayne, one thing I've used, and Nick Myers showed me this one. You put the name in, you put in the full name, and then backspace, and get rid of the last name, and
Yeah,
just have their first name. You can get more names in that way.
Yeah, and it's friendlier too, right? It has more of a friendly appeal to it. I agree with that. That's a good add-in.
Next question, does that 1 hour engagement window also apply to company page posts?
We believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, we believe, right? Once in a while, LinkedIn shares stuff, very rarely, but the rest of the stuff comes through testing, and we believe that 1 hour applies to both.
Kim Bruner, how do you find that featured section again? I can't find where to add that.
So featured, go to the blue button on your profile called Add Profile Section, drop down featured.
Let's see. How long is the name pronunciation message? I guess she means how long?
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
It's an eternity.
Caitlin McDonald, with all the additions to the LinkedIn company pages, is that because LinkedIn got rid of Elevate and now basically giving us some of those options for free?
That could be. I hadn't thought of it that way, but I think that may be part of the strategy. It's really hard to figure out and guess why they do certain things, but that could be one of them.
And then the last one from Eileen Good, the pronunciation button doesn't appear, and I have a Recruiter Lite version. Any reason why?
So the pronunciation button is on profiles, not on, so it should appear either on your profile on a mobile app or on your profile on the desktop. Should really have nothing to do with whether you're on Recruiter Lite or Navigator. Now, if you don't find you have the pronunciation button on either your app or your profile page on the desktop, I would wait a little while because that one is the newest of the features here. But then at some point, I would probably just contact the help center and tell them that you don't have it. Or here's the thing, when it comes to help from LinkedIn, the best way to get help from LinkedIn isn't the help center, it's Twitter. It's tweeting at LinkedIn Help. Because it's on Twitter, they move.
Yeah, very true. Okay, Wayne, we'll be back. I'll be back, and Tony will be back at after the.
Thanks, Garth.
Yeah.
See you, man.
You bet.
Hey, here we go. Company page changes. We got 4 real good ones here for you. I'm gonna move you to my company page, and my company page, as we do it right now, is viewed in admin. You can toggle between admin and view as member, but I'm going to show you these things in admin. First one is this: as an admin, you have the ability to invite connections to follow your company page. And that shows up right here under invite connections. And you get 100 invitations each calendar month that you can invite. And for the people that accept, they give you credit back to have more that month. So it's a little quirky from this standpoint. It's your connections not having anything to do with the company page, right? So there's a little bit of a mismatch sometimes between the company and you. And in this case, it's your personal connection. So my strategy here is this: make sure multiple people in your company are admins, and trade this off. Yesterday, I did a client event where I had the whole marketing department and the sales leadership team and the owner. And they sat down and actually gave each person a month that they could have the 100 and simply go through this list and tick off the people that they might be interested. Now, this does not send an email to the person and say, please follow. It shows up in notifications, and it says, Wayne Breitbarth has invited you to follow the Power Formula company page. And then they have a choice between an accept and ignore, just like an invitation. And the way I've done it, as opposed to scrolling through my whole network, is I'll think about a strategy and I'll open my LinkedIn on a different computer and do a LinkedIn search of my own network. And then I'll punch in people's names in the search box because you can only use names of people. And I'll bring up the people that I want to invite. Like the other day I was trying to invite, I was doing some work for the River West Food Pantry, which is basically it started as a Catholic food pantry in Milwaukee. And I wanted to find the Catholics I'm connected to in Milwaukee. So I opened up my computer, my laptop, and I did a search first degree Milwaukee, and I searched Catholic in the keyword box. Up came all my first degrees. Then I used that list to come over here on my desktop, and I punched in the name of the people, and then those were the ones that I clicked to invite 100 Catholic people who live in Milwaukee, because I know they'd be interested in following that company. And what's so interesting is I did 100, and I already got like 15 people to follow our company page, and I got one person in there, and I'm not going to share the name, but it's one person that was a reach for me, and that has a great opportunity to help us raise some money, bring our exposure up. And she followed our company page after I sent her this note. And I'm really excited about the next step I might be able to take with her now that she sort of took that step. Okay, so inviting people to your company page, great feature. And really, here's the thing I always tell people is whenever LinkedIn limits stuff, like only 5 people can look at your profile on free LinkedIn, you only can have 3 saved searches, here it's 100. Whenever LinkedIn limits something, your mind should tell you that's a goodie, right? Because people want more of it. So it should automatically tell you, I ought to optimize that one because evidently people want more than 100. So don't miss this opportunity to invite 100 connections per month, but they have to be an admin. Maybe you want to swap it around to your different team members in your company. Okay, next one. Notify employees of a post. Now, I don't have any employees, and so I won't be able to show you this one live, but all you need to do is you start a post. When the post shows up on your company page and you're the admin, so you just posted, a box will pop up right over here that says notify employees of this post. You can do that every 24-hour period. Once again, it's a notification. It's not an email. So it's not real intrusive. Some of us would like it to be more intrusive, but it at least is in their notification page. Take advantage of that. We've been asking for that. Now, what's an alternative to that? And what did we do before we had that button? Well, I had some marketing folks, what they would simply do is they'd have 10 or 12 people in their company that were sort of part of the LinkedIn team, and they would send an email, or they'd use tagging. And they'd say, hey, we just made this post. Love to have you engaged so your network can see it and so we can get more engagement both at the company page level and on your profile. So that's an alternative, but as long as the button's there, use it. So every 24 hours, you can notify your employees of a post. Okay, next item, detailed followers list. Super excited about this one. Came back just last week, I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Under analytics, slide down to followers. They even got a new button. So LinkedIn's trying to do a better job to show us new stuff. They got a new button. How about that? Scroll down and you asked for it, you got it. Finally, a list of all of our followers in order. Now, those of you who have been on LinkedIn a long time know we used to have that. That was, in the beginning you could do that. Gone for years, back. So what do you do with that? Well, if you got 4,000 followers, it's going to be a little bit of a project. And there's going to be some spammers in there. There's going to be some people you don't have any interest in. Don't get me wrong. You can't control your followers, so there's going to be some people you scroll right by. But there's also going to be this in there. People that want to work for you, and people that want to buy from you, and people that may want to have relationships with you to partner on projects. So somebody should spend time, I would say a monthly to-do. To me, there's a couple of monthly to-dos that are now out there. 100 connections, invite. A monthly to-do should be to come over to this page and look at everybody, the new followers of your page, and think to yourself, should I do something more with that person because they basically raised their hand and said, I'm interested in you. right? That was not something they were forced to do. They made the choice. Good stuff. Take advantage of that. It might be worthy of somebody's time to scroll through and look at all 4,000 and get that out of the way and then keep up with it on a monthly basis. I'm really excited about that. I don't know how many emails I would get on a monthly basis asking, why can't I see my followers? LinkedIn came through with that one for us. We cannot export the list, by the way. That's something that comes up is, can I export this list? This list is not exportable. I wish it was, like your connections. Wait, what did you just say, Wayne? You can export your connections into a list? Yes. Let me show you that. I'm going to call this a bonus, Tony. This isn't even on the list. The bonus is you can do an export of your LinkedIn connections by going to your settings, get a copy of your data, click connections, and ask for an archive. Spreadsheet will come your way in 10 minutes. Now, for us marketers, we wish the spreadsheet had email addresses. As of 2 years ago, when all that European email stuff took place, LinkedIn does not populate that spreadsheet with email addresses anymore. But it does have first name, last name, current company, and current title. And there is a column for emails, but they just don't populate there anymore because of all those things. But still a good thing to do. Still a good thing from time to time on this strategy. And it's not a new strategy for me. I've been sharing this with a lot of people, is to make sure that you, from time to time, ask your sales folks to do a download of their new prospects on LinkedIn and somehow strategize on what to do with them and maybe invite them to join your email list, right? That could be a great strategy. You got 5 or 6 salespeople. They're adding prospects all the time. Why not get that spreadsheet, strategize on what to do, and then ask for permission with that list. Don't think that you can shove them, look up their email from the connection on the contact info box and pump it into your email. You should still ask for permission. As good marketers, we know that. But at least you know who they are and who to go after and find the email address from their profile and then ask them for permission or ask them if they'd like to join your email list. Don't miss that. That's a really good opportunity. Okay, next item, activity button. Okay, back to the company page, activity button. So I don't know how new, let me go to a page that I've been doing something on. I'm going to go to one of my other pages that I'm managing. The activity button will help you keep abreast of what's going on with the things you're posting. And I've been fairly active on this page as I'm a volunteer for these guys. It'll show you the notifications, and the new notifications will be blue, meaning that somebody's engaging with your stuff. And as good marketers, we know what we should do. And I'm sort of caught up. They're all white now, so I worked on them this morning. But when somebody engages in your stuff, you should engage in that engagement and thank them and speak, use the company voice and thank them for being involved. And the activity page is something we've been asking for too, so we didn't lose track of what people were doing with our company pages. Okay. Now, by the way, this agenda, along with this document, we are going to include in the follow-up survey from this event with the link to the recording. This is a resource that I thought you would all like as marketers, corporate marketers. It's what I think is the best practice of the things that you should try to do in your company to help profiles get better. Because we don't have control over profiles, right? But we do have the ability to train and educate people. And this is the document that I use when I work with companies. So be sure to check that email out closely. We're going to include that with the email. Okay, so that is company page stuff. Let's go on to the next item, which is job seeker stuff. I got 4 quick things for you here. And then, hey, let's get questions. I love more questions. Don't hang up at 5 o'clock because we got prizes. And the questions are always worth sticking around for sure. Okay, 4 things to talk about for those of you who are either in a job switch or considering. First one is this. Open to work. I don't even know what they call it. Half circle green thing on your open to work. Half circle green thing. Now, this has been out for about a month maybe. We had this section called open to opportunities where we could put titles and cities and things that where we'd like to work. Good stuff. That's really good if you're an official job seeker. But what LinkedIn added to that was this green circle. Now, there's debates about that looking desperate. But I will tell you this, as I've talked to a few recruiters and they look at lists of people, the green thing does pop to them. And it tells them this person could move quickly, which in a recruiter's world means what? I can make my commission quicker. So you have to decide whether you want that to show up. And by the way, if you want that to show up on your profile, don't do it if you're employed, because boy, that's going to put you in the HR office in a minute, right? So don't do it in that case. But all you need to do is you scroll over to a page that has this, and then actually the easiest way is to click through to update preferences, and it'll ask you whether you want to put that on your profile. So I think time will tell whether that's a best practice, but that was one of LinkedIn's COVID ideas, is to help job seekers be more visible, and that sure does that. I don't think anybody can argue with that. Okay, next item, build a resume. So in the jobs tab, so when you click the little briefcase, you can build a resume. You can use a starting point will be your LinkedIn profile. So if you haven't built a resume for a while and you're going to be on that journey, this might be a good place to start. It'll build a Word doc from your LinkedIn profile. It's not the best of resumes, but it grabs all that information if you feel pretty good about your LinkedIn profile as a starting point. Now, what it doesn't do, and it's not why I would take this resume to the bank, it doesn't deal with the ATS system for job seekers, and that's the applicant tracking system, and that's the gatekeeper, and that's you understanding how to keyword optimize both your resume and your profiles for the sort of the computer that sits in the HR department deciding who's going to get a chance for an interview. You've got to do your own on that. And I still recommend this for those of you who are job seekers. Spend time on this website. It will help you understand ATS so well. If that's a foreign concept to you, it can't be foreign. Spend some time in the resource section in the Learning Center here and checking out how to build a resume that's ATS friendly. Because trust me, I do probably 4 consultations a week, about 4 or 5 with individual job seekers, and they are frustrated that they don't get called back, but then I'll look at their profiles and their resumes and I know they don't understand ATS. And you got to understand it. It's wonky, but it's important. Okay, item number 3, video intro for a job application. This one is super cool. So from your jobs tab, interview prep. So you may not have even known this existed. It's a special page where LinkedIn has put the 26 most likely questions that somebody will ask you in an interview and give you strategies behind that interview. Sometimes the videos are free. Sometimes you do have to be on premium to catch somebody giving you advice about the video. But look how it gives you strategies inside, and it also lets you do this. And here these 2 points are interview preps with AI-powered feedback. So what happens is, this is the 4th one, interview prep. When you click this in practice and record a video, LinkedIn will use artificial intelligence to give you feedback on how you answered that question. Pretty neat. Cool stuff, right? And that's free. That's free on LinkedIn. Now, the other one that I didn't mention, the third item on my list was video intro with the job application, which means when you apply to a job on LinkedIn, it will ask you whether you want to put together a short video intro to that company. Boy, that's a tremendous opportunity for you to show your personality and your confidence and your speaking abilities, and take advantage of that. I've heard HR people loving on that little option. Now, we know there's an ATS system and you got to get through that possibly, but boy, if you do a nice job on that video, then maybe you'll get around the ATS system because they liked how you answered that how you made that intro video. So those are all free things within the job tab or when you apply for a job specifically. Okay, so those are the 4 goodies from the job seeker world. I'm going to bring the agenda up and we're going to do questions. Before I do that, special for you guys on the call here today. I do one-on-one consultations all the time. And they can either be personal consultations on your own profile and your own personal strategy, or they can be LinkedIn page critiques and strategies. For today and tomorrow, if you book one of these with me, I will send you a copy of my book and I will screen share that session with you as well. Normally I charge extra for both of those things. So you need to book it between now and midnight. You go to this link. The link will also be in the note that you're going to get with the recording, but I'm offering the extra of the book and the screen capture with anybody that signs up between today and tomorrow, and I'll know that you're from this event. So I look forward to helping you. I have time for about 7 or 8 of these each and every week. I hope it'll be you next. Okay, Greg and Tony, let's do some questions, man.
Okay, let me, Tony, let me get out of the way with the gifts and then all over to you. So
Rock and roll. Go ahead.
two left here, 1 more book, and then the one-on-one consultation. Question number 1, what was Garth's last name? This is for the book. I got to give it to Carrie Brown. It's actually Algar, A-L-G-A-R, but Al Gore was our vice president, but close enough. And then there's the hat. Okay, this is a tough one. Let's see who's for real here. What was the name of the actor who played the manager of Stan Mikita Donuts?
And this is the consult?
This is the console.
Oh boy, drum roll.
Here we go.
And if no one's got this one, I've got a backup.
Somebody's Googling it.
Oh,
We got
Caitlin
Nikki.
McDonald, Stan Mikita. Brilliant.
All right.
That's awesome.
Okay, you guys make sure the 4 winners get me notes so I know where to send or email you how we get the stuff out to you or get the consultation set up. Thanks, Garth. Nice job on that, my friend.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Tony, and thanks for doing this, Wayne. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Been a
See you at
blast.
the next Wilco concert.
Been fun. I can't wait. I hope there will be one soon.
Yep.
Wow, Wayne, that was like a whirlwind of so much knowledge.
Thanks, Tony.
We did record this, and I'm gonna have to watch it again just to catch it all because I was playing stage manager back here. So I try to absorb as much as I could. All right. So before we go into the questions, just want to tell people, as maybe some people are going to start to drop off. This is AMA Madison's craft marketing. And so go to AMA Madison if you want to learn more about craft marketing. We do these every month. At the bottom, go to our main page, go all the way to the bottom, and you can join our mail list if you want to know more about these coming up. So thanks so much for joining us. All right. Oh, thanks, Steve. Awesome. All right. So speaking of whirlwind here, we've got a ton of questions, Wayne, and I think some people sound like they might want to hang out a little bit afterwards. So if you're open for that, let's
Well,
do
good,
that.
man. I still got some of this left. Let's
All
go.
right, fantastic. All right, so let's do 30 for 30 here. It's the ESPN stuff here. Okay, so for some people were having trouble finding the pronunciation. Is that a premium feature, or is that because some people weren't able to find that?
So it's not a premium, but as I mentioned, it was the latest feature that I just got. It could be still rolling.
Right.
And what I would do to try to push it a little bit is go to your mobile app, make sure you grab the latest version on your app. If it's there, then it will carry over to and you do it over on your phone, it'll carry over and show up on your profile on a desktop.
Fantastic. Yeah. So if you can't find it on the app, force your app to download. And if that doesn't work, then delete your app and then re-download it. And that should get you.
It's not a premium, for sure. Not a premium.
Okay. Fantastic. Great. Linda asks here, can you show where that employee notification was again?
Yeah. So employee notification is going to be when you do a post. When you do a new post, it's going to drop that post into the feed. and there'll be a button that's going to pop up right here that says notify employees. And then once you do it, then it goes away. That's why I can't show you one, because I've already done this. So it'll show up right here, right after you make the post. And by the way, if you didn't know this, you can also do a pin on your company page and keep one post at the top. That's another nice strategy that most people haven't found yet. So
fantastic. Yeah, so a couple people have chimed in on the chat saying that they can't find it online, but they do find it on the mobile app. So thank you.
Good.
Awesome. Okay, so Sarah Rogers asking, would the notify employees option be available? Would the notify employees option be available if you use a social media scheduling program? So like Hootsuite, I'm guessing, Buffer, things like that.
So I'm guessing that the notify employee button will still be the same, even if you're using a scheduler, because once it gets picked up on this page, then LinkedIn just doesn't know where it came from. But I'm not sure. I don't use a scheduler, so I'd give that a try. I don't know why it wouldn't.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work on your social media scheduling, that might be a premium feature on that social media scheduler.
That could be too.
Yeah. Okay, why does the notify employees only go to some employees? Missy was asking that.
So I didn't realize it didn't go to everybody. That's a good one, Missy. I'm going to investigate that, because I don't have any lists where it says it will be sent out to 15 employees, and I didn't even have 15 employees. So that's a good question. I'm going to investigate that, and maybe I'll use that in one of my future weekly LinkedIn tip emails. I don't know the answer, but go to the help center. When in doubt, I use the help center for articles and things like that. You might find that in there. So I'm not sure. Good question.
Fantastic. And follow Wayne and become friends with Wayne, because he'll probably tell you. He might tell you before LinkedIn does. All right. So Caitlin asks, do you think we will be able to export the follower list soon?
Doubt it. That's just Wayne Breitbart's belly, but doubt it.
They took away all that group features where you could export all that stuff, right?
They really don't like the export list thing.
Yep.
They're really anti-list.
Mike Roach asks, I'm a sole proprietor. Strategically, why populate both my professional page with 2,500 followers and my company page, 3 followers? Right now, 99.7% of my content is on my professional page. Good question.
Well, people can still visit your company page, even if they're not followers, right? They may be checking you out and investigating. And if you don't have any content in there that shows you're smart, then they may miss that, okay? And think about this. If somebody Googles the name of your company and it's not exactly your name, they'll find that LinkedIn company page on the Google search on page 1, and they'll land on the page. It'll be not very interesting. So the way I look at it, Mike, is both places, even if you have a small following over your company page, just because people will show up even who are not followers.
I'm one of those people who tag companies all the time. So I'll write out, like we do it on that's probably how a lot of people found out about this, right? We have these posts, we tag Wayne Breitbarth, we tag all of our board members, we tag participants and sponsors, and I tag company pages when we do that. So
yeah, I do the same thing, and I think the more companies start to realize that activity button's there, then they will engage if you do a tag. So I agree. Yeah, we didn't mention that tags can be for companies or for people, and you should have both. When I look at the personal if somebody's out there, could you mute out there? Let's see here. Okay, so when I look at the personal profile of an individual, it shows number of followers. Does LinkedIn add number of connections to those who have followed you when coming up with a number? Yeah, so your followers are defined as all your connections and anybody who's chosen just to follow. The total of those two. All right. Sheila asks, I see hashtag open to work. Should we put it anywhere else in our profile as a hashtag? That's a good question. I don't know that anybody is using, the real question is that going to get you any? Is somebody going to use this hashtag and do a search, I don't know. You know, I see good hashtags being used to find certain types of content, not people so much. So I don't know. You know, I guess I need to ask that question of HR recruiter kind of folks to see if they'd ever use that hashtag to search for a person. I don't see it. I don't know why they would.
All right. And Anne is asking, how do you get to the interview prep page again?
Yeah, so that's jobs, more, interview prep.
That's all the questions. That's the rapid fire questions that we had
Cool.
here. Maybe I missed a couple, but so if there's anybody else that has any questions, I invite you to. We're after our time, and we're after our official time, so we can make it a little less formal. And if you want to unchat and talk to Wayne or chat a little bit, and ask Wayne some questions.
Yeah, I'll hang around. Still got what?
Hey, Wayne,
Yeah.
I just submitted a question. My invite connections button only allows me to search people's names. So how did you search by word Catholic?
Yeah, so what you need to do is you need to either open another tab, or easier if you open up another computer and do a search of your network on the other computer, and then use that list to drop in names over on the computer that's on with that line that says put their name in.
Okay, got it.
Ooh, I got this one.
Yeah.
I got this one. So there's actually this is new to me. You probably knew about this already, Wayne, but you can search for people, companies, right? So I think that's what Mega's talking about. But there's a new link to me that called content.
Yeah.
Where you can freeform search. So in fact, I was just sharing this with my own company. So I'm searching for continuing education credits for association. In the association world, it's called CAE, Certified Association Executives. And so I was searching for free webinars. And so I searched for free CAE credit in that content box, or after you go to that. And I found a bunch of posts that had upcoming or future webinars. So that might be a way to check that out as well. So if you're looking for content specifically, that's how I found
that content search button, people didn't realize it's there, Tony. So you can use the top search box to look for, do a search, and you have a choice at this point, and one of them is content. And that's why one of the things I tell companies is make sure that you're using some consistent hashtags and words, so that you have a company hashtag that you always use, so you can use that search button to always find your content from all of the people that may be sharing your stuff, including your employees and anybody else.
What else we got? Other questions?
Hey, Wayne.
Yeah.
It's Sheila in Brookfield. How you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
Hey, my question is, did you make this list yourself, or does LinkedIn have a list somewhere of their latest things? And I'm guessing I know the answer to this.
So so I did not. Here's the fella. I recommend, if you really want to stay on top of changes, this is the guy, and he's got a hashtag that he uses. His name's Kevin Turner, and let's see, his hashtag, I follow his hashtag, but he seems to be the guy that seems to know this stuff before everybody. I would follow him and then start looking at the hashtag that he's using. And to me, he puts together a list every couple months. These are everything since January, and that's what I used.
Ooh, what's the hashtag that he uses?
Let's look. Let's go to one of his posts. Oh, what's that one? I like that one. Let's see. I'm looking for his new stuff. That's not it.
Geez, I didn't mean to suck up too much time with
Okay.
this. I can also look for
If
it.
somebody else has a question, let us know as I'm here. It is. It's hashtag new LinkedIn feature.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
you'll-
Actually, Wayne, I was interested. I saw he had like 37,000 followers. Does LinkedIn cap the number of followers you have, like the cap connections?
No, they don't cap followers. So that's why some people, when they've capped out their connections at the 30,000, they automatically do not have a connect button anymore on your profile. It says follow.
Yep.
You can change that anytime you want, by the way. You can change, even if you're under the 30,000, you can switch your button out to followers. I don't know why you would want to do that, but some people do. I don't think that's a good strategy till I get to 30. And then if I get to 30 and I'm at 26,000, if I get to 30 and I'm still alive and well and teaching LinkedIn, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean out some connections.
Yeah.
You know, because there's people I connected with way back from parts of the world that I'll probably never be able to help or do anything with, and I'll just clean those out. Because I like connections because when I do a search, I can direct message the people when they come up with a list like this Catholic idea or whatever I'm trying to do, right? Having a bigger network really allows you to do a lot more direct messaging but still do it in a respectful way.
Hey, Wayne, this might be a little bit behind. I haven't updated in a while, but the provide services on your page,
Yeah.
Where is that? And can you just talk us through that real quick?
Well, here it is. But I still don't know, if you don't have that, how you can get that. I thought it was ProFinder. LinkedIn has a thing called ProFinder, and I thought you had to be a ProFinder member, and you have to be on premium to be a ProFinder member. It will show up here, but I've had so many people say, how do I get that box on my profile if I never had it before? And I can't find it for the life of me. And haven't got a good answer out of the help center. That's the one you're talking about, right, Mike?
Wayne, got a question for you. I'm involved with a reading and literacy initiative, and I'm wondering, how can I get a message out to my audience without having to click on each and every one of them and sending a message to them if I don't just want to post that in a traditional post? Is there a way to connect differently?
So what you were hoping for is sort of an email blast.
Kind of, yes.
Okay. So here's what you can do, but be super careful with this. You can do a message. I think it's limited to 50 people at a time. Now, here's the problem with it. If those 50 people are not related to each other and they don't mind being involved in a group chat situation, it's a pain in the butt and people do not like it. If it's 10 people from the same company, I'm going to visit your office next week, would like to set up an appointment, that's cool. If I'd like to introduce Mike to Mike, that might be a good use. But for a blast, I think LinkedIn is not designed for blasts for a reason. And the reason, catch this, we would hate LinkedIn if we could blast. Because all of us would think, well, my blasts are important. I'm not bothering people, right? And we would all do a bunch of blasting because we think our stuff's so cool, and we'd shut down because, you know, the messaging stinks on LinkedIn. I get way too much. We already get way too much spam with in-mails that people are paying for, but they had to pay for those at least, so it's a little bit controlled that way. So I'd be a little careful with that. I really think the best way to do a direct messaging campaign is to go in here, click people, click on all filters, click first degree, and then, you know, I'll sort of take you through the idea I had the other day. So I did Milwaukee, and then I was looking for people that were leaders of companies. So I did something like this. And then I wanted to find people that had the word Catholic, you know. Okay, so I used the wildcard box at the top, and I found, here's 82 people, right? I like the idea of, okay, yes, it's a cut and paste message, but I'm going to think about each of these people individually. I might have paragraph 2, 3, and 4 are standard of what I'm trying to get across, but I use paragraph 1 with their name to say, hi, Donna, how you doing? How's your family? I know you're very involved in the Catholic world, so I wanted to share with you the following, right? So And maybe you'd skip some people because I don't know Tom well, so I don't think it's inappropriate to do a message to Tom on this one, right? Trust me, it takes a little time, but your reader will appreciate the fact that you took the time to think about them and go, should I send this person a message or not just blast.
Right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Wow, what a great session. So much to take in. I think it's been a great community, great group here. I know we're starting to dwindle here a little bit. A lot of questions still. I would say if you're looking forward to make sure that you contact us, and for any other questions, if you've got questions for Wayne, we can make sure we pass those on, or contact Wayne directly.
Yeah, send me a message on LinkedIn. Happy to answer.
Absolutely. Visit AMA Madison and to take a look again at our conference. We have a conference coming up in September 24th. It's virtual. It's a full day conference. It's the same programming, if not better program we would do in person. That would cost $250 for the conference. It's only $20 for all AMA members of any chapter. So we invite you to come there. $40 for our guests as well. So I just want to give one last plug for that. So far our craft marketing events have been free, so I think that this was worth the price of admission, right, Wayne?
I hope so. I enjoyed it. Lots of fun hanging out with so many good folks. What was the total count of people that showed up, Tony?
Well, I think so. I'll take responsibility for this one. We still have an old account that had 100. So unfortunately, I'm sure there's some people that weren't able to join, but they will get this recording. So
well, now when you say space is limited in the future, they better take
space is limited. Yep. So we're going to think about maybe upgrading our account here real soon if we have this kind of growth in the craft marketing.
Sounds good, my friend. Thanks so much. It was great seeing everybody.
Yeah, great stuff. Thanks very much, Wayne.
Stay safe, everyone.
Well, if there's anybody else that's want to kind of just hang out, we can hang out a little bit here. Wayne, if you got to go, let's go. But if there's anybody else that wants to finish the last couple drinks of their beer, let's do that.
Mike, you doing well?
Really well. Thanks, Wayne.
Good. Your business is prospering?
COVID hit me a little bit hard. I had some really nice new business stuff in the pipeline that got shut down, but the best news is my daughter just turned 6 months. So
I didn't know you had a kid. How good is that?
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer, my friend, but
that's special. You are going to have a blast with that. As a father of 3 daughters, enjoy every moment of it.
My problem is
when they become, here's my warning, 7th grade to freshmen, stay away from them. They're crazy.
I guess my question is, will you ever sleep? I'm just wondering if I ever get a night's
you'll
sleep.
be able to, yeah, you'll be able to sleep. It's tough times. You're right about that.
About 4 years. 4 years from now, you'll be able to.
You scare me, Tony. You scare me.
The first year is pretty rough. Yeah. And then I hate hearing about people like, oh, our 6-day-old is sleeping through the night. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. Don't tell me that.
How do you define a night, right?
Yeah. You know what? 4 hours is 3 or 4 hours is fantastic.
Yeah. You think, are they live? Are they alive?
I know. You go check on them.
Hey, I wanted to ask, I know Greg had teed it up earlier. Anybody out there have topics that they would love to hear somebody cover in the coming months?
So I have one. This past week, Wayne, by the way, I had 2 separate board members ask me about LinkedIn advertising, and I only know this much about that. And so I found it really tough, and their UI really difficult to build an audience, because every time we're trying to go through and build an ad or a promotional post or anything like that, it says your audience is too small.
You know who's good at this? Spencer X.
Yeah.
Spencer X he and AJ Wilcox. Now AJ Wilcox is sort of the national guru guy. If you can get Wilcox, and you might be able to with this audience, I'd start with AJ Wilcox. He's got a podcast that's outstanding because it's a complex thing. But if you want a local guy, I think Spencer X is real good too.
Sounds great. Thanks for the tip.
And it is a good topic, and it's not one that I touch because it is separate and distinct and has a lot of weirdities to it.
We've got a question here that came in here, and I think it's Femi here that's still on with us here. It says, "Is it possible to find articles written by people I am following without opening their LinkedIn page?"
Well, I suppose if you did a search, it used the search to put their name in the search box and then click content. I think it'll bring the articles up, and you never visit their page. I'd start with that.
What do you think about, Steve? What does everybody else think about, like, we talk about really big ideas here a lot of times and at our conferences. And I think my instinct is that I think we all think that we know all this stuff already. Like some of this tactical stuff, like how do you do Google Analytics? How do you run LinkedIn? How do I really set up a Facebook remarketing tech? Really like hands-on technical sort of stuff. I would enjoy like hearing more of that sort of stuff. I mean, big ideas are great, but maybe we have these master classes or more. Maybe it's a whole separate series of events where we really dig in. Like, I'm going to show you how to set this up step by step, because I don't know. Like you, what do you learn in marketing school, right? 4 Ps. All that stuff, but they don't teach you how to do like Google Analytics or Facebook advertising.
No, I agree. I think the way like today to see Wayne go through things, granted he went through a little fast, like you said. Well, some of us who are a little slow will have to go through the video, but I think it's great to be able to do that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I was going to volunteer, Tony and Steve. I know I'm a Chicago guy, and I made a bad joke at the beginning about Wisconsin, but I used to do Harley Davidson's PR, and I think public relations is one of those areas that people say, oh yeah, PR, but they have no clue how to work with media. Wayne actually is good. He's done some stuff with Help a Reporter Out, Haro, and those kind of things. But I just did a webinar for folks who's doing PR well in the COVID world. I got it on the shelf, so I'll volunteer if you guys are looking for future stuff.
Great.
I think it's just one of those things that opens people's eyes to like, oh wow, a museum did that, or oh wow, like the stuff Colectivo Coffee is doing with their Unity coffee brand. Like there's just a lot of really smart stuff with, diversity and COVID. Everything is merging right now, and if you can do something smart and creative, it does pop. And PR can be that equalizer that you don't have to spend Super Bowl advertising dollars to get.
Sure, no, that's great. Kurt, Sherry, Haley, Barbara, Megan, do you have any thoughts or comments on that? Mike, I've heard that from a few different folks too as well, so I appreciate it.
I've had, hi, Haley here, Knoxville, Tennessee. We've talked here at our local AMA about kind of creating some easily consumable Loom videos of kind of what Tony was talking to, of walking somebody through creating an ad campaign or showing them how to use Instagram stories. I work with a lot of small businesses on those very small tactics, so very minimal levels, but those Loom videos that can just be anywhere for people to consume, and you can either kit them for your members or leave them open just to kind of show your services.
Great, excellent. And you don't need a long.
I love the PR idea.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, Haley. Just you don't need a long form for that, right? You can do a 15 or 20 minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That Loom videos can just be, it's just recording. I don't know if everybody's familiar with the Loom, but it just records you kind of walking through something on your desktop or even your phone, walking through something, and it captures the audio as well. So it can be as a 10-minute video to a 20-minute, 30-minute workshop.
Excellent. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I love this tactical stuff. I've been sitting here 30 minutes inviting connections to my LinkedIn page. I'm up to 97, so 3 more to go.
Good.
But yeah, I was on a call earlier today.
Keep an eye on that, Megan, because I think what they do is the ones that accept, they'll give you a credit back.
Well, it says August 1st, it's going to roll over to 100 more. So I thought I'd get it in here at the end of this month and then
Don't be
do it
surprised.
again in 3 days.
Don't be surprised in the next couple of days before August 1st that you go back there and it says you got 4 credits when you thought you used all 100, and it's because 4 people said yes.
All right. But yeah, I mean, little tactics are always
Yeah.
great. I learned on a call earlier today about doing stuff on the Nextdoor app, which is really a local marketing thing. They're allowing 2 free business posts per month to
Oh,
kind of own your neighborhood. And so it's like all these little tips and tricks for people with like no budgets or small budgets is always
you
helpful.
know, I'm on Nextdoor because I live in the inner city of Milwaukee, and I noticed that happening, and I didn't know how it worked. I didn't investigate it from a business standpoint. What do they allow you to do?
So you can join and have a business page on Nextdoor, and you get 2 free posts a month now as a business, and they'll come up in the neighborhood feed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's really a lost opportunity for a lot of businesses, because all the time on Nextdoor, people are saying, hey, who can paint my house? Or anybody know how to do drywall? Or somebody know a dog sitter? And like, I know my neighbor down here is like a one-man shop of a drywall guy, but I was like, I don't remember his number right offhand or whatever. So if I could tag him, if he
yeah.
had a business page, I could tag him all the time and recommend.
Hey, Wayne, one follow-up question. How much of your content differs between your personal page and your business page?
It doesn't.
You just mirror it?
Yeah. I might not do it the same day, but within a week, I'll usually post on my company page what I did on my own page. Sometimes I forget to do the company page, but I try to always have them mirrored. Because, you know, the algorithm is just so weird on the organic reach that you just have to do more is better.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, your witching hour tip has gotten me huge engagement. I do that customized, you jokingly called it a customized email campaign, but I've had people in my network say, what program are you using? And I go, I'm just typing fast and putting in a fun message. But it's amazing, to your point, how LinkedIn will expand to that whole network. And, 2,500 people get all that, and it's actually interesting. The engagement really jumps.
You're saying because what? You're tagging people that come in there in that first hour?
No, I email folks within like the first 30 minutes of posting, or not email, but like LinkedIn message.
Yeah. And you got how big is your email group that you do?
I usually do about 150 to 200 people.
Oh, okay.
And just kind of.
And these are all folks that have sort of agreed to play with you.
Yeah, just basically, well, I send them to you, and sometimes you do them, sometimes you don't. Just depends on if the content fits. But yeah.
Interesting. Jay, Sherry, I know you started to say something about PR earlier when Mike spoke. I don't know if you got your whole comment in there. I don't know if we talked over you.
Oh, all I was saying is I love the PR idea. I would definitely attend something about that. And if Mike, if you're the guy, great.
I'll put a picture of the Madison Stadium up here instead.
Okay.